here, by the way. Thank you for joining. Appreciate it. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Got lots of good stuff coming up today, so should be brilliant. Okay, literally just another 45 seconds, and we will be going. We'll get going. Okay, be ready to go. Okay, can just see a few people still joining, so just want to give them another 30 seconds, and then we'll get going. And we won't spend too long today, don't worry, we'll get to the point, so shouldn't need you to hang around too long, but definitely worth staying for the short period that we'll be here today for. Okay, just another 15 seconds and then we'll get going. Okay, excellent, excellent. So you can see you're in the right place. It's going to be an institutional webinar. Really exciting today. Got an excellent topic for you. As you can see, it is about you and making you more profitable. Okay, so we're going to do that. You're going to see, you don't need to take my word for it. You'll see as we go along today that we're going to make sure that that happens. Okay, we've also got, as you may be aware, a huge free $10,000 funded trader account giveaway as well. That's for every single person who claims it at the end. It's an unlimited number. Okay, there's a reason I can do that. I do not only trade professionally myself, but I also run a prop firm as well. We're going to talk a little bit about that as well today. You know, my institutional background, verified results, stuff that you won't see in any other webinar. Okay, so don't worry, I'm not going to talk about my you know, my family or this or that or any of the stuff that people talk about on webinars. We're actually going to get into the meat of it. You know, I want to take you to the next level. To do that, we need to stick to the topic at hand, which is trading. And obviously my background is in trading, so we will talk about the relevant parts of that. It's really important, obviously, that the person talking to you has a credible background. So we won't spend more than a couple of minutes on that. Then, as you can see, the main topic, we're going to look at some trading strategies, professional trading strategies that you can use to grow your free trader funded account. And then we'll also give you an example of that, a real trade that I took this week. I'll show you in real time exactly how it played out. Okay, and then we also have a live Q&A at the end. Okay, so let's get going. So just a brief word, just a very brief word on the free funded accounts. They're genuine accounts. Okay, I run a prop firm. We've had over 5,000 traders come through the door. We've funded over $25 million. Okay, so we know what we're doing, and we have some of the best funded accounts in the industry compared to some of our competitors. We only have one step. We don't bother with two steps and all of that waste of time stuff. It's literally one step with very, very sort of favorable metrics for you as well. And, you know, we do pay out a lot of money as well to our traders as well. So we know what we're doing. And as I said, there'll be an unlimited number for everyone at the end. Okay, so stick around. You'll have an opportunity to claim one of those right at the end. So worth sticking around for. I'll also, as I said, be doing some live trades as well. Okay, and I think that's important. You know, you turn up to a lot of these things and, you know, people don't really back up what they're telling you to do by showing you that they do it themselves. How important is that? Very important. So hopefully that kind of gives you a bit of confidence that you're in the right place. We're going to show you exactly how I implement that myself. And I'm also going to show you that probably what you're doing right now as a retail trader, there's no easier way to say this. It pretty much amounts to gambling. Okay, so don't take my word for it. I will show you as we go along that probably what you're doing right now, it's not going to get you the results you want. You need to look at things a little bit more professionally, a little bit differently, and that will be obvious as we go along. So I want to make this about you. As I said, I really want this to be about you that are watching this today, that have taken the time to come, because you're obviously serious about your trading and your career, but before we get into all the exciting stuff, you know, like free funded accounts and also live trading and all of that stuff, and it won't take so long. You can see probably what, 30-40 minutes maximum. Okay, so you'll be off soon. Okay, so worth focusing just for that short period of time. It won't be too long. Just before we start, let's actually make this about you, in the sense, let's get you thinking a little bit. So, you know, why are you trading? You know, let's think about a couple of obvious reasons. You want some financial freedom. You want perhaps to look after your family. You want to be able to say when you get home that, yes, you know, I have something, I have a profession that makes money, that I can actually either support myself, or if you have a family, you can support your family, right? Obviously, you're not doing this for fun. You're doing it because it's something quite serious. So that is kind of the why. But what about the what? You know, what is trading? Trading is very similar to a job where you'll be generating an income. But in a job, you'll be getting, you know, some income that you just get paid when you go to work, right? So you get this income, you get some money, right, for going to work. Trading's slightly different. Even though you get income, the way you generate the income, it's slightly different. You have capital. So, you know, you'll be getting free funded account today, so you don't need to really worry about that. But you agree, you need the ability to grow that capital. You know, if you start with 10K, it's not going to last you very long, because we all know life is expensive. You're going to have expenses and things. You need to really start to grow it, maybe to 100,000, 200,000, 300,000. So you need the ability to grow that capital, right? So it's not only capital, you also need the ability to grow that capital. But what today is about is the how. And that's why today's super exciting, because I'm going to show you how it's actually done in real life at professional firms. And also, obviously, because I own a prop firm, I get to see how thousands of traders perform. So that's why I actually think today is going to be one of the best webinars ever created. Okay, and I'm not just saying that, you'll see it yourself, because in today's webinar you're going to see the how. Okay, you're actually going to see how you can take something like 10K and actually grow it, genuinely grow it, so it can actually make a difference, you know, because otherwise, what's the point of all of this? So without much further ado, let's crack on with the first part. I said I'd talk just for 2 minutes about my credentials, and that is important because, as I said at the start, trading is a profession, right? It's an income. So you need someone who actually does it as a profession themselves, right? You know, if you wanted to learn to be a doctor, you'd go to a doctor, right? In trading, for some people, for some reason, 99% of people, when they want to learn to trade, they don't go to a trader. They seem to just go to some random person on social media. I don't know why they do it. Very unique opportunity for you today, because I do make a living from trading. I've made a living from trading even before I started trading for myself. I've worked at one of the biggest investment banks in the world for several years, doing a whole bunch of stuff, including trading, and done very well out of it. And, you know, I'm even on the FCA register, obviously no longer because I've now left the bank and I trade for myself. But, you know, it's proven. I have a proven background in this business. I've got actual results, audited results that anyone can access, which I'll just show you in a second, where you can see those. And then finally, I run a prop firm. Okay, so I know what I'm doing. So it's a very unique opportunity for you to get yourself on the right path, and get guidance from someone who not only knows what he's doing, but if you think about the data I see as a prop firm owner, I see thousands of traders like yourself who's watching this right now. You might be using things like this, you know, retail charts, drawing lines on them. And I hate to say it, but if you really think about what all this stuff is, you know, you could probably ask your little niece or nephew to draw these lines, and I bet you they'd do a better job than all of us put together. So that is not trading. Okay, and I know it's not trading because I see people who come to my prop firm, thousands of them, doing this stuff. And I shouldn't obviously say this out loud too much, but it's definitely not the right way to do it, to grow your capital. Okay, so I not only know that as a professional trader, I know it as a prop firm owner. Okay, because I've seen the evidence of that. And as I said to you, we're almost going to get into the main meat of it. Just want to finish this off. I also have audited results, okay? Because I don't think anyone has this. And I even offered a lot of money a couple of years ago to anyone who could show their audited results, match my results. I said I'd give them £25,000 cash of my own money. Never happened, okay? And this is all accessible through the website, and you can go to my FX book and you can see all my audited results there. So everything is there, okay? So having said all of that, let's crack on with the main part of it. Like I said, I want this to be about you, and we will obviously talk about, we'll go through some live trading, I'll show you some stuff and all the rest of it. But before we start, right, no one's going to ask you this. So it's really important that I do it, because most people will just tell you, hey, open a chart, do A plus B, do this, do that. That's not going to make you successful, right? You need to really look at yourself in the mirror and be honest with yourself, okay? Because if you're not honest with yourself, you'll just waste another 1, 2, 3, 5 years of your life doing the same stuff. You know, take 5 minutes just to ask yourself some simple questions. You know, do you honestly have the ability to grow the capital that either you have or that, you know, I'll be giving you today for free to those that wish to claim it at the end? I'll be giving that away. Do you actually, you know, what's the point? You've got this money, like I said, what are you going to do with it? Do you actually have the ability to turn it into 100K, into 200K, so you can live a life? You know, my supposition to you is that doing this sort of stuff of Instagram, YouTube, you don't, right? So we can prove that to ourselves literally in 30 seconds. It's so easy, right? I don't know why no one does this, but let's say you're doing stuff like this, or you're thinking about doing it. And like I say, I see thousands of people doing it as well who come to my prop firm. Literally, either in your mind or on a piece of paper, I want you to ask yourself, you know, the stuff that you're doing, is there the person who's showing it to you, do they have any independent evidence that they make money from it? The answer is no. Okay, be honest. The answer is no. Does that person have a professional background, having worked somewhere on a trading floor, in a bank, you know, places where institutions are making millions of dollars trading, right? The answer is no. That person who's telling you to do this stuff, they haven't. And then finally, you know, obviously, has that person got access to thousands of traders doing this stuff? Do they see whether it really works or not? The answer is no. Okay, so if you are doing that stuff, I'm telling you quite bluntly, don't take this personally. I'm saying it to help you. You might as well go down to the casino and play on the slot machines, because that is what that is. Okay, and put further than that, as I said, you want to do this as a career. Could you actually go home to either your partner or your kids or to yourself, and actually, are you proud of doing something like that, drawing lines for a living? Probably not, right? And I'm not here to make anyone feel bad. I'm also here to help you. So I will show you what does work. Okay, so as I said, you know, if you answered no to any of that stuff, you're basically playing slot machines, right? The point of today is to get you out of that. It's not to make you feel bad and, you know, make you go home and just make you feel bad. Obviously, it's to actually get you on the right path as well, right? So there's a big positive today, because the stuff I'm going to be showing you is very different. I'm going to show you how banks trade, how professional institutions trade, because I work there, so I know how they do it, and I made money there, right? And I have proof that I've made money there. So the answer to all the questions is yes. You know, there is evidence of profits of trading. This stuff works. There's plenty of evidence. Not only the evidence that I'll show you today, but also, you know, if you go to a bank, they make a lot of money doing this type of stuff. They don't do any of the stuff you see in retail. They do the stuff I'm going to show you today. So quite exciting. You know, the people you work with in banks will have professional backgrounds. I myself have a professional background. And then also, like I said, I have this advantage that I've seen what thousands of traders are doing. So I know what works and I know what doesn't as well. Okay, so today we're going to get you onto that sort of professional path, so you can go home and be proud and say to your, not maybe yourself, if you're not, you know, haven't got a partner or you're not married, but at least you can be proud and go home and say, hey, what do you do for a living? Or what endeavor are you trying to get into? What skill are you trying to learn? Well, you know what? I analyze data for a living. I look at analytical data, the stuff that banks are doing, rather than just drawing lines on my chart and sticking a couple of zones on them or whatever people are doing, which don't think you need me to tell you, it's not going to get you very far. Okay, so we're going to get on with it now. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity for you to, like I said, learn from not only a professional trader, but someone who runs a prop firm and has evidence that you can actually grow your account. Okay, so as I said, that is what today is about. So we're going to look at the how. Okay, we're going to look at the how. Okay, so make a decision today before we start, which we are going to start now, in terms of looking exactly at how professional firms are trading. I'm going to take you step by step in the next sort of 15-20 minutes. Make a decision today. Like I said, it's easy to jump on a chart and just start trading. Anyone can do that. Spend even, you owe it to yourself to spend a minute just to think about what side do you want to be on. Do you want to waste your life? Do you want to do things like draw lines on a chart for a living? Because all that is, it's gambling. Okay, so, or do you want to actually do something positive, like analyze data, something you can go home and be happy about that you are doing. Okay, so my guess is you do want to do this properly. Okay, so if you do, then you're in the right place. And just to say, I say this to some people because they just somehow don't get it, but if you ignore what I'm telling you today, I'm literally putting it on a plate for you, because like I said, I do see 5, 6, 7,000 traders and I see how they trade. And I'm telling you what works and what doesn't. If you ignore me, it's almost like trying to climb a mountain without a rope. If I tell you, look, this is the best way, you need a rope to get up a mountain. What retail traders like to do is they like to live in denial. They'll just say, nah, I don't need it. Right? And this is what they do. It's completely delusional, right? So let's get you out of that. Let's actually sort of give you that ability to grow the account. Okay, so what does it actually mean, right? Let's think about it. What does the ability to grow capital, what does it actually mean? I'll tell you bluntly. Okay, you know the answer, but most people can't face reality, which is it means working. Okay, if you're a mechanic, if you're a personal trainer, if you're a surgeon, whatever you are, to be successful in those fields, you need to do what? You need to work. Right? You come home, you're proud, you put in a shift, you got paid. As I said before, that's not work. That's just obviously delusion. So I'm going to show you how institutions actually work. How is it? Why do they make so much money? Let's do it together. Okay, so just a reminder, I'm going to show you the live trades that I've taken this week. We're also going to get you hooked up with some free funded accounts. But before we do that, let's actually look at what work means, right? Stuff you won't see anywhere. You won't see this on YouTube or Instagram or anywhere. Let's show you what work is. It's something you can be proud of, like I said, and funnily enough, that's what's going to make you money, right? So let's look at something basic. So these are all the markets here, that most people trade. Bitcoin, pound yen, dollar yen, crude oil, the S&P. So today you'll notice when we take a live trade together, I trade the S&P 500, and but it doesn't matter what you trade. If you trade forex, who cares? If you trade Bitcoin or crypto, it doesn't matter because they all move together. Okay, so recently they've all been moving up, and you can see it for yourself, right? Today is obviously the 5th. You can see in the last couple of days. Okay, you don't even need to take my word for it. Look, they're all moving down together. So this is something banks will be looking at. You see, they don't need a retail chart for that. It's just basic information they'll be starting with. And they'll be looking at that type of information because it gives them good information that if everything is moving together right now, it's probably a good bet that it will continue to move together. So we can see the market's been moving down. I just want you to remember that because it's going to come in handy when we do our live trade. Okay, so markets are moving down. Another type of work that banks are doing that's different to what I see in retail is they're very organized. Okay, they're very organized. This is basic stuff that you can do. Okay, it's not complicated. What I normally see people doing is they will go on a calendar, like Forex Factory, and they'll just have a bunch of data and they'll just say, oh yeah, I got this data, I got that data, it's gone up, it's gone down. I have no idea how they do this. Right? I'm surprised their head isn't scrambled. What I do, and I learned this doing this in a bank, is I'll literally just get a sheet. So I'll show you how I did it here. And a whole week's worth of data, I'll literally have it on 5 lines. Okay, and I'll just say to myself, what's important? So to give you an example, next week, week 2, one piece of data I'm looking at. Okay, so that is CPI. Do you see how much more organized that is? One piece of data, the whole of next week. I don't care about, you see all that bunch of data I just showed you, so much data on one page. It's a complete mess. You know, if you really want to grow that account, you need to be organized, right? And you need to spend some time doing this, maybe 5 minutes on a Sunday. I just don't see people doing this. It's incredible. You know, it's not very difficult at all. Final thing before we get onto the live trade, okay? So we will get onto the live trade, and it's really fantastic what I'm going to show you, how to bring this all together in terms of actually putting some money on the board, some real P&L. Final kind of thing they'll be doing is they'll be looking at things slightly differently to the crowd. Okay, so this looks complicated, it isn't. Everyone knows about interest rates, US interest rates, right? We all know, and forgive my handwriting, I know it's not the neatest in the world, that does say US interest rates, they've been going up for the last couple of years. Everyone is now expecting them to do what? Go down. The thing is, it's not as simple as that. What banks realize, and myself, because I learned to do this, and it doesn't take very long, is the whole crowd is thinking that rates are going to come down, which is very bullish for the market. The thing is, the market moves well ahead of this type of stuff. So just because you know that interest rates are going to be cut, it doesn't mean that the market's going to move in the same way that you expect it to. In fact, it's probably going to do the opposite, right? And you can see why. When the market when the Fed started raising interest rates, the market moved well ahead of it. So right now, you can see the market's already started to move, right? Even though interest rates are going to be cut, the market's already started to move. Okay, so we need to think about doing the opposite. So if rates are going to be cut, we kind of expect a bullish market, but I'm saying everyone's thinking that. So actually, I'm going to do the opposite. Right? I'm probably going to be looking to sell the market right now, especially because it's already priced in the fact that rates are cut. Okay, so can you see 2 reasons why we are likely to want to sell? Okay, now let's actually have a look, right? Before we kind of move on, just one final thing. Let's compare what we've just looked at, right? Which took what, all of 5 minutes. You know, we analyze some pretty basic data and compare to what we see retail traders doing. Do you see, this is the stuff that is likely to grow your capital. This stuff is going to do what? The opposite. It's going to shrink your capital. You don't need to take my word for it. You can see, just look at, you know, the kind of things, the composition of what we are looking at compared to what we typically see people look at, you know, in the commercial space. It's completely different. It's like night and day. However, the key thing is it's doable. You can do it. Anyone can do it. Okay, so what we're now going to do is we're going to have a look at a live trade example as well, just bringing all of this together so I can show you it's not super complicated at all. It's just different. It's just different. That's all. It's different. And because I've worked in a bank, I kind of know how it's different. So I'm in a position to show you that. Okay, so just a reminder, we will be doing the free funded account shortly. But first, as I mentioned, I want to just have a look at a live trade example, okay, which is work, right? So I'm going to show you work, how banks are actually working. And it's actually really interesting, okay? It's not the boring type of work that you might do when you go to work, right? We all know how that is. It's actually quite interesting, okay? So we'll have a look at it together, okay? And I'm going to hit play. So this is the live market. You can see that it's moving. And don't be overwhelmed by any of this, okay? People always are. Initially, I was, my first day, you know, in an institution, I was thinking, oh my God, I'm never going to get this. But it's really simple, and I'll show you. We'll go through it together. So it is my live account. You can see here, okay? Happy to show that openly, as I said at the start. And you can see that it's moving right now. And you can see over here, in this column here, very basic. right? Stuff you don't necessarily see on your retail chart. Like I said, we're doing things differently here. We're actually doing work. You know, being on that plain chart is not work. It's gambling. It's guessing. It's pressing the machine button on the slot machine, right? What we're actually doing is proper work now. You know, we want to grow our capital. So to do that, we are going to have to do a little bit of work and do a little bit of thinking, but it's not difficult. Okay, so on the right hand side, you've got buying here. And can you see it? You can see it for yourself. This whole bunch of buying that has come in. Okay, this is basically a candle. What you see here, right? I can even draw it. This, you know, and then you have your kind of wick or whatever, top and bottom. It is a candle, but it's just showing you what's inside. So we can see that predominantly we're seeing a lot of buying. Now, if you remember what I said earlier, we're actually looking to sell the market, right? Do you remember we had a strong couple of reasons for that? Because all markets are moving down right now. We saw the chart, you know, crypto, forex, equities, everything's moving down. And also we know the Fed wants to cut rates. However, it's already been priced in, right? We don't want to do what everyone else is doing. We want to do the opposite. So, you know, maybe a lot of retail traders, they might have their kind of lines or whatever they've got here and they're looking to buy the market. So you can see the buying coming in. I'm actually looking to do the opposite. Okay, so we're going to look to sell this market, even though it's going up against us and we've got lots of buyers coming in. And I'm going to show you how you can actually put yourself in a very advantageous position by having access to basic information, okay, that most retail traders aren't looking at, but all institutions will be looking at it, all right? So the first thing we're going to do, I'm just going to fast forward it a little bit because obviously I don't want to keep you here all evening. But what we can see, right, is we can see here that the market's actually started moving up here. Now, I want to sell this. So do you agree, right? If I've got this, I'm randomly going to be selling. How do I know? Should I wait for it to go up here? Should I wait for it to go up here? Should I sell it right now? What should I do? I don't know. Because I can actually see where the buying came in, you can see it for yourself. Right here, there's a concentration of buying. I know that if we start to test this area, right, these buyers, the ones that we saw earlier in this column, do you agree they're going to start getting nervous? They're going to want to get out of their positions, right? And we can see that happening right now. So do you see, I already know I don't need to wait for a retracement. Why bother waiting for a retracement? I can get in right now because I can see those buyers that were buying, they're already starting to give up. So do you see it's not that complicated? I can already see it. Do you see that it's now turning into selling? Okay, so you'll actually see that I marked this myself. So this is in real time I was doing this. I actually started marking this, right? So let me just forward it to where I marked it slightly. Okay, there you go. Do you see I marked it during the session? Okay, so it's that same area where the buying came in. And we've also got some little bit of buying here. So it's a very clear area that we've come down below. So you see, I know I don't need a retracement. There's no point waiting for a retracement because it's probably not going to come. Now, what I'm thinking is as soon as the market pops back up to this level, I'm going to look to sell it. Why? Because what do retail traders do? Do you see I just hit sell there? There you go. You can see I sold the market. There's a reason why. Because when people are in a loss, right, these guys have bought, probably retail traders, they're in a loss, they're negative because the market's moved against them. Do you see as soon as it goes to break even, they're relieved. They're thinking, all right, I'll close the position. That's why as soon as the market goes to that level, I just hit sell. I didn't even have to think about it. So you can see I've hit sell. I've put my stop here. Look how tight my stop loss is. Because I know as soon as we go above this level where we've seen the selling come in, you know, the trade doesn't make sense anymore. So do you see, without access to this data, let's have a look at what you're looking at. You're kind of looking here. How on earth do you know where to put your stop loss? You have no idea. You are guessing. Okay, you're on that slot machine that I showed you. You know, you're on the slot machine. So that really needs to stop. Okay, so let's actually have a look how this trade played out because it didn't actually take that long to play out. If I just forward it a little bit, okay, we'll see it just play out together. Just give it a moment. Let's just give it a second. I did fast forward it a little bit, even in the recording, so you didn't have to wait. But obviously, that's my first target, right? So it gets hit. Just give it a moment or two. You can see all the sellers coming in. So I don't need to take my profits early. I can see sellers are coming in, and we'll just give it one moment. Okay, let me might just need to forward it a little bit. Okay, there you go. So you can see the trade got taken out, and that's just my first exit. Okay, so around $1,500 on the first trade. Now, do you see this is my risk here, and this is my reward on the rest of the trade? Okay, so as long as I've got this selling coming in, there's no point me letting this trade go. I might as well let it push a little bit further, because I know a lot of those buyers from earlier, they're all going to be giving up now. They can all see what I'm seeing, and they're all going to be giving up. Okay, so what I will do, I'll just forward it a little bit, because it did take another sort of 5 or 10 minutes just to play out. Okay, we're almost done with this example, don't worry, so you'll see the conclusion. I'm just going to forward it a little bit, so because it did just take 5 minutes, and obviously I don't want you just to hang around just for 5 minutes. Okay, there we go. So you can see it's just making its way down. Okay, route towards my targets down here. Okay, it's around 3 to 1 in terms of, you know, unit of risk that I took compared to my reward. Okay, there you go. So the trade just got taken out there. Now, the final thing I want to show you, right? The trade is over. So I've made $3,437.50. A fairly bog standard day. And I'll show you all my statistics. I'll show you that this is a fairly bog standard day. Okay, so the trade's been made, and you saw it didn't really go against me even that much. One thing before we go and actually have a look at some of the statistics, which is very, very important for you as a trader, especially if you want to be professional about things. I just want to show you one final thing, okay? If we go right to the end, and I did this intentionally, okay, and I'm just going to pause the market so it isn't so distracting. Like I said, I want you to think about what you're actually doing right now. So I expanded, can you see I made it slightly bigger? Okay, I've made it slightly bigger, and in fact, apologize, I intentionally went back to the start. Let me just go back to the start. There we go. So let's go back to the start of where I initiated the trade. You know, so where I actually got short. Let's have a look at what you are actually looking at, which is this. Do you see how I blew it up? I've blown the candle up, and what I'm looking at. Do you see it's the same thing? It's exactly the same thing. Do you see I'm not doing anything supersonic. I'm not doing anything, you know, that, oh, that stuff is so secretive, I'll never be able to do that. I'm not. I'm looking at exactly the same thing you are, but I'm just looking at the detail inside. You know, I take some pride in my work. Like I said, I can go home to my wife and say, you know what, I analyzed data. I made money, but I analyzed some data. I couldn't look her in the face and say, oh, this is what I did. I just looked at this and, you know, basically, you get the point, all right? No point hammering it home, but you can see the difference. And not even that, right? Forget about that. If you want to go short using, you know, just plain candlestick charts, how do you even know where to go short? How do you know where to put your stop? To me, that you might as well be trading with the blindfold on. Okay, so I think I've made my point. All right, so now what I want to do, okay, and we're almost there. We're almost there with the conclusion. Okay, let me just go back where we were. One thing I want to do, because it's so important, because no one says this, right? One trade is fine, but let me actually just show you on my actual blotter, which is linked to my live account that you just saw there, and I'll refresh it. Okay, so you can see that is genuine. So that's the last trade, 3,437.50. Okay, you know, for one, I know people think, you know, I want to make 20,000 on a trade, 30,000. That's delusional. Okay, you can make a lot of money, but it's got to be done in a sort of consistent way. Consistency is important. So, you know, whether you look at my last 30 days, whether you look at my last 60 days, whether you look at my last 90 days, it's chipping away. You see, like I said to you, you might start with your 10K, but it's chipping away, okay? I have losses, you know, I have losing days, but then I'm chipping away at it, slowly, 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 like I showed you today, you know, and I'll prove it to you even further. If we look at some detailed statistics, right, and this is kind of my last 800 trades, right? Who's going to show you their last 800 trades? Right? No one. No one's going to show you that. But I'm happy to show you. Okay, what's my average holding time? 43 minutes. So do you see every day I'm probably not spending more than around 45 to 60 minutes. Okay, and everyone who knows me, they know my stats, they see my trades, all my students see my trades, they know I'm spending no longer than 45 to 60 minutes because I'm chipping away at it, okay? So that's the way you should be doing it. Like I said, I own a prop firm. People who make money, they're looking at things a little bit more professionally, but they're also doing things in a consistent manner, okay? They're not swinging for the fences, they're doing things in a consistent manner. Is like I said, around 30 minutes, you know. So these are some of my students. You'll see that they've got the same sort of statistics that I do. So, you know, in terms of average hold time, this particular student about an hour, and then this one slightly less, I think, maybe about an hour as well. Okay, so this one's about an hour. So look, you've seen how different it is, what professional traders are doing. Make a decision. You know, what do you want to do? Do you want to actually have a positive impact on your life? Do you want to go home and say either to yourself, if you're on your own, or if you've got a family, that, do you know what? I do proper work. You know, yes, I trade, and I know everyone thinks trading's silly, but actually, do you know what? I don't do all that stuff that social medias are doing because that's delusion. I recognize that. It's just playing on, you know, it's just gambling. What I actually do is I analyze data. Okay, I analyze data. Now, as I said before, I cannot stress this enough. Not only have I worked in a bank, but I run a prop firm and I see thousands, and I'm not even talking, I'm talking 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,000 retail traders. I see exactly how they trade, and I'm openly telling you, this won't make you money. Trading in a professional manner will make you money, and I'm putting it on a plate for you. I am telling you today, I'm putting it on a plate how you can grow your capital, okay? So that's why I'm saying make a very careful decision today. You know, tomorrow, which direction do you want to go in with your trading? Do you want to, you know, grow your account, or do you just want to keep spinning the wheel? Okay, so look, I know none of you, I know you're all intelligent people, so I know you're ready to work. I know it's a resounding yes. The problem is how. You know, Envy, you've showed us all this amazing stuff, but how am I going to do that? You know, I can't work in a bank. No bank's going to let me work for them. So does that mean I should just give up? No. And you know, that's what the final section is about. Okay, the last kind of 5-10 minutes. Okay, we're almost done. I said I'm going to throw a lot of stuff at you today, and I kept my word. Remember I said about 35-40 minutes. So this is the best part of today, right? Not only have we got the free funded accounts for everyone that wants to claim one will be able to. But also, I'm going to show you how you can change your trajectory from being a retail trader. And don't take any offense for this. It's delusional what retail traders are doing. If I don't tell you that, who's going to tell you? You know, you should be happy that I'm telling you, because I don't want you to just be stuck in that same cycle forever. So obviously, I need to tell you a little bit in a harsh way. And let's move you into a professional sense, right? And then obviously get you sorted out with the funded account. So how? You know, how do we do it? This final section, how do we move you over? It's actually quite easy. You know, number one, I said, you need to be realistic. You're going to have to work. Okay. And if you think that that is work, well, that's what's going to happen to your trading account. And I've seen it thousands of times. Okay. That's not work. That is not work. Okay. You know, if you go as an experiment, go to work tomorrow, right? I'll give you all a task. Go to work tomorrow and say to your boss, right, I don't want to do what you told me to. You know, you've been given work to do by your boss. This is what I want to do. You know, so what I mean is, if you're a personal trainer, right, pull out your charts. And, you know, if your client says, if you say to your client, look, I think you should increase your protein intake, or you should do more exercises. Why? Because my chart tells me to. They're going to laugh at you and they're going to say, look, I don't want you as my personal trainer anymore, right? So, or if you're a surgeon and you say, look, let's operate on this person because, you know, my chart told me to do that. So it's ridiculous. But if you say, you know what, I've analyzed some data, that's why we should do things. Imagine how impressed your boss is going to be. So like I said, my point is, it's obviously work that you need to do, number one. And number two, you need to have a clear plan. Okay, so I'm going to show you the type of plan that successful people who grow their account consistently have, right? So when I first went into a bank, right, the first thing they made me do for the first 3 months, it was frustrating because it was, they didn't let me trade. They taught me the basics of kind of the financial markets, supply and demand, the sort of things we saw together. Like they showed me a lot of the stuff that I showed you today. So if you remember, a lot of these sort of things, what are all these numbers, all these buyers, all these sellers, the interaction, how does it work? That kind of thing. So they spent 3 months doing that. So, if we look at how much P&L in terms of profit, the first 3 months, really it was very little, right? The first 3 months, because I was learning the basics. But, whatever job you do, whether you're a mechanic, whether you're a surgeon, you're not going to make money the first 3 months. So you've got to be realistic. Then the next 3 months, it was looking at stuff in more detail and maybe starting to trade a little bit. So maybe putting some profits on the board, but again, not much. And then it was kind of going back and forward between trading real money, maybe being on the simulator, maybe doing a bit more stuff, just kind of solidifying what I'd learned in the first 6 months, right? So getting me that solid grounding. And then, after a little while, it was then that I started to experience a successful career. So can you see the first 3, 6, 9 months was very slow. And then it was astronomical. If we compare that to kind of what retail traders are doing, they don't have that type of plan in place, right? They're not doing that. They're kind of thinking, oh, I'm going to become rich in a month or two. So they have these really high expectations. It never works out. What happens? It falls flat. That's why I say this stuff is gambling, and it makes sense that it's gambling, because when you go to, the roulette machines or you play, you don't have a clear plan. So it kind of makes sense that, it's all the same stuff, basically. You think you're going to make a lot of money and you don't, right? And then what happens? You start again. You have a different methodology, and then you don't. And then you start again. Do you see how much time you're wasting? And look how big this gap is growing. Can you see you're all at zero after 1 year? Look where a professional trader is. Look at the gap. Because they were patient, they built it up. Do you see they had a clear plan? Okay, so have a plan in place. Okay, I'm going to show you how you can do that. I'm literally going to put it on a plate for you. Okay, so it's actually, like I said, one of the best webinars I think you'll ever watch, because I am going to put that plan on a plate for you. Okay, so how? Well, you've got to be realistic, right? You're not going to be able to go to a bank tomorrow, right? You can't go to a bank, unless you're in a business school or something like that. But does that mean you shouldn't have access to the same kind of training that I did that allowed me to kind of grow my capital? No. So I've put together a program. It's unbelievable, okay? It matches exactly what a bank is doing. So months 1 to 3, they'll obviously be learning some basic stuff. I've put that in the program, months 1 to 3, the same, identical, everything you'd be learning. Things like what I showed you earlier here. So, step by step, taking you through exactly how to set all of this up, how you can, look at all the information inside what you've got here, all of that, first 3 months, okay? So I've put that together for you. Then in the next 3 months, moving you on a little bit more advanced. And then 3 months after that, again, maybe pushing you to start growing your account even more. And then eventually pushing you towards a career. So can you see it's that path, that clear path, okay? And I don't even need to compare it. I've spoken enough about the retail sector. They're not even comparable. It's very difficult for me to compare what people are doing in the retail sector. As I said, children can do that stuff. There's nothing. There's no sort of evidence of trading. I've shown you evidence of trading. There's no professional background. Forget my background. As I said, I own a prop firm, so I see a lot of data. You're not going to see that from anyone in the retail side, okay? So the due diligence is incredible. I'm literally putting on a plate for you, okay? Now, obviously, there is a small charge for the program. It's not expensive at all, okay? You're probably thinking it must be thousands to get this type of information. Yeah, it's incredible information. It's actually incredibly reasonable, okay? because you attended the webinar, right? Very, very reasonable. Of course, I'm not going to give it for free. I need to make sure you're serious about it, okay? But at the same time, I'm not going to charge you thousands of pounds for it. I will go over it. It will take a minute or two. I'll show you exactly how you can access it, and you will need to put a coupon code in, a webinar code, okay? You will need to use that. You'd head over to the website. It's literally £279, okay, to start straight away in 3 installments, or 798 altogether. Normally it is £1,498, but I will show you. We'll go through it together. It will take no more than a couple of minutes. I'll also show you about the funded accounts, the free funded accounts I spoke about earlier, okay? So what are you actually getting for £279? Well, I told you I'm putting everything on a plate for you, right? I've spoken for quite a while about that. You're going to get all the tools, okay? Not only are you going to get the training, which we're going to go through together. I'll show you. It will take no more than a minute. We'll go through the website together. I'll show you the training. You're also going to get all the tools, every single thing is included. You're going to have everything that you need, okay? So in fact, what I'll do is I'll show you. We'll go through it on the website. It'll take a minute. Might as well go through it together. So that is the website, right? You just go to the website, www. Oops, put too many W's there, G7FX.com. Okay, so you head over to the website. You can scroll down, you'll see it yourself. It's brilliant. Obviously, take your time, go through the website. Don't take my word for it. You'll see. Okay, so you'll see my background, all my results, all of that stuff that I spoke about, all our incredible reviews, all of that stuff, and then the course. So you can see step by step. Okay, literally step by step. I mean, it's unbelievable what I am giving you. I said I'm putting it on a plate for you, and it gets better. You'll see. When you're ready to start, okay, you go here and you can see normally I get people paying £1,498, and I get plenty of people paying that because you can see the quality. However, with this coupon code, right, which will be for a limited time, I'm putting that coupon code, maybe for the next 1 or 2 days. Put the code in, hit enter. Can you see it literally drops it by almost a half? Okay, so 3 installments, £279 or 798, and you can start straight away. So what do you get? You get all the course access, you'll get all your login, your password, and you can start straight away. You get all the tools as well. All countries welcome, okay? Pretty much all of them, apart from obviously, you know, the usual suspects, obviously not, but pretty much 99% of customers. I trade US markets myself. So if in the US, you're fine. I'm from obviously the UK, it's fine. Middle East, America, South America, wherever, Europe, all of it is fine. Markets are global, okay? So this information applies to you. It doesn't matter where you're from. Okay, as I said, all countries are welcome. Now, bonus 2. Bonus 1 was obviously the code and the tools. Bonus 2, right? Once you've purchased the course, we will send you a free $10,000 trader evaluation account, okay? Why am I able to do that? I own a prop firm, okay? So don't worry. It is a genuine account. It's fantastic. You'll actually have the ability to grow it and get paid as well, okay? So you can... It is actually a real trader evaluation account, okay? So if you grow it, you will be paid real money, okay? So don't worry, and people get paid, right? And you've seen, you know, it is... I've got a professional background, okay? If I'm going to give you something, it's real, okay? So don't worry. You're going to be getting something incredible, which no one else is able to give you, I think, for free anyway. So, you know, you're getting to do that. So just final couple of bits, and there'll be a live Q&A at the end. You can ask me questions. Final couple of bits is, once you've purchased the course, right, super exciting. Obviously, you're going to be putting yourself on a amazing trajectory, starting to grow that account. Let's get you growing that, you know, let's make you, put you in a position where you can actually feel positive about your trading and actually get you on the path to making some money. Once you start, you can simply email us, or actually I'll get my guys to reach out to you, okay? So you get an email probably within a few hours from Get Funded Now about how to set up your free 10K account as well, okay? So we'll do that. Once you've made your purchase, so everyone who makes a purchase, unlimited number of accounts I have available for everyone. Like I said, I own a prop firm, so I'm able to do that. You know, I'm not relying on anyone else. So final couple of things, have a think about it, right? What else do you need? I said it's going to be one of the best webinars. I'm literally putting everything on a plate for you. I'm giving you the capital you need to trade. So there's no excuses. You can't say, oh, but I don't have enough to fund my trading account. I don't want you to fund a trading account. We're doing that for you, giving you the capital and then giving you the education to grow it. Okay, so no excuses. And then hopefully, it might not happen tomorrow, but eventually you'll be able to achieve what you actually want out of trading. Okay, so literally putting it on a plate for you. Okay, so make a decision, make a decision which way you want to go. Do you want to continue doing this stuff? I promise you, in 6 months, you're going to be in the same spot, right? It's delusional. You might as well go and put your money in a fruit machine or a slot machine, right? Don't do that. Get yourself on the right path. Just a reminder, apologies to repeat myself, but obviously it's important I say this because the code is only going to be for a very limited time, and you'll see that because we will email you if you don't mind, just reminding you that the code is ending, okay? Because it is almost half the price. You're getting £700 off. You're starting at 279. Obviously I do this very rarely. Whenever I run one of these webinars, which is very rarely, then I give this code. Okay, so obviously I like to, I don't want to be one of those people that just says, hey, you've got this code, grow24. Nice code, right? Obviously you want to grow as a trader. So you've got this code, and then a week later you find out the code is still in circulation. No, I don't operate that way. Okay, if I say something, I mean it, right? So obviously it's exclusively for people in the webinar for 1 or 2 days. We're going to let you have the code. After that, obviously it goes back to the normal price because obviously I'm a credible person and I don't want to just be giving discounts and it just sticks there permanently, because then it takes the whole credibility away of actually attending this webinar and actually being serious about changing your life, right? So final couple of things. People tend to ask me, right, and we will get into live Q&A. People tend to ask me, how many hours a day? Must be taking me ages. I've got a family, I've got this, I've got kids, I've got other stuff I need to do, I've got a day job. You do not even need to take my word for it. I showed you 807 trades. My average hold time is 43 minutes. Okay, I've put 30 there. Obviously, it does vary from month to month. No one is going to show you 807 trades, okay? They're going to tell you whatever they want you to hear. How many times do people say, hey, do what I tell you because I promise you I only trade an hour a day? Where's the evidence of that, right? It's the industry is a bit of a joke, really. I'm actually showing you evidence. 807 trades, I think that's about 2 or 3 years worth of data there, that the average is low, okay? So don't worry too much. I'm not a big fan of all this stuff, but it is true. Obviously, I do have students. I've got more students than you could ever imagine, okay? Very, very happy students who do very, very well. I have a real, so, student results, obviously, you can see that here. I've got very, very successful students, but I've also, which is no surprise because I'm teaching them the right stuff that I learned myself. The stuff that I learned in a bank, in an institution, I'm teaching them as well. If you join, right, so don't forget, www.g7fx.com. The webinar code is GROW24, and obviously it will drop the price. You'll also get access to the community, okay? So I've got over 1,000 students in the community. So you're not on your own. Don't worry. A lot of these guys are retail people who were drawing lines on their chart, and now they're trading the way I am. They're serious people, okay? I'm in there as well. I show people every single day what I'm doing. I lead by example, okay? I'm not one of these people who's off. You see all these guys who are too busy apparently driving their fast cars or whatever. Complete load of I don't want to be rude, but it is rubbish, right? I've worked around, and I am a professional trader myself, and I've worked around some amazing traders. We don't drive around in fast cars all day, okay? Yes, we earn very good money, but we don't do that, okay? We take, we got pride, like I said, in what we do, and we take our business seriously. And I've got a lot of students doing that, and we do that every day. My point is I do that every day. I lead by example, and you'll be in here, you'll be able to ask questions. It's all in real time. You'll be able to, hey, I'm stuck on this, I'm stuck on that, and all of that, okay? So we've got a community. Don't worry. As you move through the material, you're not on your own. There's other people out there, not only successful people, but also people who are just starting out or people on your level, all coming together in the community is unbelievable. Okay, so you will get that. Really, really exciting. So I just wanted to mention that you're not on your own, okay? Because a lot of people obviously do worry. Oh, fine, I'm going to join this thing and I'm on my own. Well, you're not on your own, okay? So just a final reminder before we do the live Q&A. Okay, I promise you it's the last time I'm going to say it. I've put today only. It is going to be for like 1 or 2 days. I promise you. If you go like after a few days, this code will be out of circulation. It won't work, okay? And I will take it out of circulation. I genuinely mean that. I think you can tell I'm a very credible person. So I will take it out of circulation. I'm literally giving you £700 off, right? If you can't do it in one go, I'm even allowing you to do installments, okay? So you can start straight away. £279, forgive my handwriting, £279, and you can start straight away, okay? Don't worry, whatever country you're from, get going, okay? Do things the right way. G7FX.com, you can see the website there. That's everything, okay? You don't need to pay for tools and things, it's all included. You'll also get your free funded account, as I said. So that's all coming. Okay, so look, final thing before we move on to the Q&A is I wanted to say thank you. I genuinely wanted to say thank you. I know a lot of you have given up your time today. I know you're all very busy. Some of you have got families, and even if you haven't, you've got stuff to do in your life. I get that. But I wanted to first congratulate you because you're obviously quite serious. You can tell I'm very passionate about markets. That's because I'm not going to lie to you, I'm 42 years old. I've been in markets since I started at Barclays Investment Bank, which was 21 years old. Okay, so 21 years I've been in the markets, and I love it just as much today as I did then. And I kind of feel privileged that I'm able to share it with you and even help you. Okay, so firstly, wanted to say thank you for turning up and giving me that opportunity to do that, but also congratulate yourself. It obviously shows you're serious about this. You're looking at a more kind of serious way to actually progress in trading, and that's what you're going to get here. Okay, you're going to get something serious, right? And I think you can see that. So obviously got some feedback here as well, and we're going to do some Q&A. Okay, so I won't spend too long doing Q&A. If you want to start, you can start straight away, or check out the website. Again, just go over www.g7fx.com. Really easy. Head over to the website, have a look. Just a reminder of the code as well. So if you want to start, you can start straight away, or just get started and maybe leave it to the side for a time being, and we'll get you set up with that free funded account as well as getting you going with all the course material. We'll also send you some emails if you don't mind over the weekend as well. Just kind of reminding you as well that the code is ending, etc., etc. But what I want to do, for those of you that are just kind of like, yeah, this is brilliant, this is the right thing for me. However, I've got a few questions. Fine. You can pop your questions in the chat box, right? And I can see there's a lot of questions. You wouldn't even believe me. I'm not going to tell you how many there are, but there's a lot of questions, right? What I want to do, because there's so many questions, rather than answer every single one, because we'll be here till 2025, right? Obviously, we want to go today. I'll just answer the main questions that I get asked a lot. And then after I've done that, I'll just pick a handful. Okay. And if there are any questions and yours don't get answered, you can email us as well. Okay. And I promise you, I've got a brilliant team. They'll answer every question. Okay. So don't worry, you will get your question answered, whether it's today by me or here or whatever. So look, a lot of people say, is this okay for beginners? It's absolutely okay for beginners, right? Let me tell you, when I started my first day in the bank, right, what was I? I was a beginner. I wasn't an advanced trader. Okay, so everyone's a beginner at one stage. Just because my first day in the bank, I was a bit worried that, I might not understand this. Did I give up and go and do something which makes absolutely no sense to me? No, I realized, okay, it's my first day, but how's it different to any of you that go into a job, your first day on any job? Weren't you a little bit worried? Weren't you a little bit? But weren't you okay in the end? Yeah, of course, you were fine, okay? The advantage you have here is that I'm literally going to show you step by step, right? So I will show you, it's literally step by step, how to set everything up. So you can see here in the foundation course. I call it a foundation course for a reason, because it's to get you started from scratch with all the tools, how to load everything. And then don't forget, we've got a community as well, which I just showed you. So if you ever get stuck, you can pop in here, and I've got people in here, myself included, will help you, okay? But you won't get stuck because I know how good it is, what I've produced. Step by step, everything, okay? Even the tools, whatever. So don't worry if you're brand new. Even if you're quite advanced, the point is, just because you're new, that's not an excuse, is it? You know, if you want to do things properly, you need to do things properly. That's the bottom line. And we'll make sure you obviously don't get stuck. Now, with advanced traders, you know, people who might have done a little bit of order flow before, or they've looked at this type of data, fine, no problem at all. You know, at the end of the day, you can just kind of skim through the foundation course and already push ahead. Those that are brand new, by the time you finish the foundation course, you're going to be at the same level as even those who have done this little bit of this before. But even if you've done some of this before, you can rush through it and then go straight into the professional sort of course, the pro course, and that will push you to the next level straight away. Okay, so there's a starting point for everyone. Don't worry. Okay, so you're okay here, you're okay here. You know, some people talk about the funded accounts, and obviously get yourself set up, but don't worry too much about that side of things, the 10K account. Okay, it's there. Obviously, you do need to claim it within the first 30 days. However, don't worry about it too much. You know, just get started on the education first. Obviously, you know, get started, get yourself logged in, get yourself set up, become comfortable, and then obviously the funded account, you can worry about that afterwards. So those first three kind of things answered. How many hours per day do you need to be in front of the screen? I covered this. You don't even need to take my word for it. I already showed you evidence. 800 and what was it? 7 trades. I mean, come on. You got black and white evidence that you do not need to be in front of your screen all day, okay? Obviously, when you're learning at the start, you do need to spend some time. You can't just expect to walk into a job, and this is a professional job, right? This isn't Instagram, YouTube, doing some, you know, trading stuff that we see there. This is a professional job, right? This is something you can be proud of. Like I say, you're analyzing things. Anything like that, you're not going to be able to walk in on day one and just do 40 minutes. Of course not, right? But the advantage is the learning stuff, as you'll see, where I've put here, unlimited access to course material. It's incredible. You get your own login. You'll have like a login and the material here, and, you know, all the little points. And every time you learn, it will remember what you've learned, and then you'll move on. This you can do at the weekend. You don't need to spend hours every day. I get it. Monday to Friday, most people are working, or they're busy, or family, or, you know, they haven't got time to be spending hours on Monday to Friday. Saturday, Sunday is also fine. That's when you can put in that shift. Then during the week, 30, 40 minutes in front of the market is plenty, okay? And I'm not just saying that, because a lot of people say that as a selling point. They'll say, oh yeah, because they know that's what people want to hear. I don't know how many times to say this. I've shown you categorical evidence of that, okay? That I walk the walk. I don't just talk the talk. I walk the walk. I've shown you, okay, that you don't need to spend that much time, okay? So, and then easy to set up. I've already said to all of you that yes, it's very, very easy to set up all this stuff. We'll show you how to do it. Is there support outside of the training? Yeah, again, you don't need to take my word for it. I've shown you. You know, we have a community. We have mentors in the community. You've got myself there. You're never going to get stuck. Okay, real time. You're in that community, or you can email us as well if you want, if you prefer, saying, hey, I can't get something working. Okay, we have got the best support in the world. I know, because I have very high standards. Okay, so don't worry, you'll be absolutely fine. Account size needed, all of that. You don't need it. We're giving you a funded account. Okay, so you don't need it. Huge advantage you've got. I don't want you to go. You know, a lot of these type of things, it's disgraceful. That's the politest way to put it. It's disgraceful. They'll encourage you to, you know, go and put $5,000 in a trading account, $10,000. Before you know it, it turns into 20, 30. That stuff can, you know, have a very detrimental impact on your life. Don't do that. You know, you don't need to do that. I'm giving you a funded account. I run a prop firm, and I'm in a very good position to be able to do that and help you with that. So, you know, don't do that stuff. You know, if you've got $5,000, $10,000 saved up, keep it saved. Do not use it in a trading account, okay? Don't do that. Okay, you don't need to do that. Okay, and all markets, yes, all markets are fine. You know, FX, obviously equities I like to trade, as you saw the example today was with equities, was the S&P 500. I think it's the best market in the world. However, if you look at a lot of my audited results, I have traded FX, and in the course I do show you FX as well. So don't worry, that's covered. Commodities, you know, all the markets, I cover all of them, all right? So don't worry, they're all covered. All markets, even a little bit of crypto, even though I encourage you not to do that. I don't think it's the best thing. Okay, so these are the typical questions I get. No excuses. I've put everything on a plate for you. That's the code, GROW24. Super excited to see you on the other side. I'm going to answer some of the questions that got asked to me in the box in a second. Probably just spend about 10-15 minutes doing that. However, if your question didn't get asked today, or answered, I beg your pardon, didn't get answered today, or I don't answer it right now, or it didn't get answered here, you know, one of these, email nv@g7fx.com. Okay, I've got one of my staff members working right now, so he'll answer your questions, or we'll answer them, you know, tomorrow or whatever, but we will answer every single question. Okay, he's probably getting nervous right now, sweating, because there will be a lot of questions, but hopefully there won't actually, because I think I've done quite a good job of making you comfortable, that you're in the right place. Okay, so appreciate you listening to all of that. Let me just have a look at some of these questions that got asked here that are in the chat box. So give me a moment if you don't mind. Literally just got so many questions. So just give me a moment whilst I just kind of find some stuff. Okay, very good question actually that I found here, which is, do you trade NQ, which is the NASDAQ? Okay, NQ. I don't actually trade NQ, but I have many students that trade NQ. And if you trade NQ, this is perfect for you, because I do trade the ES, right, which is the S&P 500. And the S&P 500 will drive the NQ. Okay, literally, if you know the direction that the S&P is going in, you will make money on the NQ. Okay, that's all you need to know. Really, it's directionality, isn't it? So if you can trade ES like S&P, you can trade NQ as well. Okay, so don't worry. And I have a lot of students who trade NASDAQ futures using order flow, using exactly what I've shown them to do. Literally all they'll do is on their chart, they'll go and change the symbol over to NQ. Okay, so that's fine. Don't worry. And even if you trade forex or any of that stuff, all the stuff I show you applies to all markets. You literally just need to change the symbol into what you are doing. Okay. Another one was options. People asking about options. Options. Okay. I don't really trade options myself. I had a lot of exposure to options when I worked in a bank, so I understand options market very, very well. I do think the options market is a little bit dangerous for retail traders. I know people won't tell you that. You know, options are not only driven by delta. By delta, I mean the price, the spot price, you know, so what you see on your chart. They're driven by other factors, okay? And options can be very complicated to trade. So I'm not saying don't trade them, but I'm saying be cautious about it, okay? Now, I think what I teach is 100% going to make you a better options trader. Why? Because the majority of the options price is driven by the spot price. Okay, even though there's other factors as well, you know, like volatility is another big factor that drives option prices, time as well. So various factors will be driving, but these factors are probably more like, you know, 10 to 20% of the driver. 80 to 90% is this. If you know, like the gentleman who asked about NQ, you know, and FX and blah, 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 all this stuff, if you know which way the market's going to go, say the S&P or whatever it is, you know which way NQ is going to go. You know which way the options market's going to go. Okay, so get the fundamentals right. You know, if you know the direction of the market, how you trade that market almost becomes irrelevant. You know, obviously you will have your vehicle of choice, whether it's futures, whether it's options, whether it's, you know, MetaTrader or whatever platform you're using, and you're using the spot market. It doesn't matter. If you don't know the direction of the market, who cares what you're doing? Futures, options, spot market, who cares? Doesn't matter. But if you know the direction, you can trade anything. Okay, people get very caught up on that. It doesn't really matter what you're trading. Don't worry so much about, you know, trading options, trading futures, trading spot. Worry about understanding the market. Okay, and that's what I show you. Okay, so that's all good. Final couple of questions, right? We'll be done in a few minutes. Just give me one moment. This isn't a question, right? But someone mentioned this in the chat. I want to say thank you to him because it's a great comment. He said, "Thank you for broadening my vision about what real training is all about. Until this webinar, I thought trading is just slot machines for intellectuals." And I wasted some precious time and money myself with technical analysis and charts, etc., etc. So yeah, I appreciate that comment. It's actually quite true. So yeah, a lot of questions here that have been repeated. So, you know, what's the how many hours do you sit in front of the computer, and so on and so forth. I've already mentioned that. This is quite interesting. What's the best time to analyze the chart? Personally, right, you know, historically when I was working in a bank, I did trade a lot more of the London hours because I was based in a London investment bank, and obviously I'm a British person myself. I've also worked in New York, so I've done New York hours. I do like the New York hours. The reason is typically New York is afternoon time, so in London, right? So 9 a.m. New York is like afternoon time, so it suits my schedule. So, you know, if you're based in kind of if you're based in Europe, you might actually find it easier to trade New York hours because it's afternoon. Because you could kind of do it around work, you know, maybe in your lunchtime or something, you'll be able to trade prime New York hours. Obviously, if you're in New York, you might want to trade kind of early in the morning or before work is kind of a good time. I don't typically trade overnight. I like to sleep, but I appreciate people are in, and I'm only, obviously, I mean that in a joking way, but, you know, I understand some people are based in different countries like Australia or wherever it is, then obviously you will have to just work your way around it. I mean, it's not that bad, is it, trading in the middle of the night, because it's nice and quiet as well. So my point is, don't worry too much. You can pretty much trade sort of whatever window suits you. There will be quiet times in the market, no denying. So kind of like, you know, 6 to 9 in the evening London time. Okay, it's not just equities, it's forex, it's crypto, it's all these markets will be quiet for a small window. So there's probably just a small window that you want to avoid, but majority of the time is okay. You can fit it around what you're doing. Okay, so don't worry too much about that. And, you know, eventually, hopefully this becomes your career. So you can actually do what I do. You know, you can kind of set your own hours as I do. I'm very fortunate. Okay. Just bear with me. Lot of questions. Sorry, just bear with me. I'm literally going to end in like probably 2 or 3 minutes just to round it off. Some people asking about just sort of the tools. Okay, all the tools are included. Okay, and I'm not even joking. I forgot to say this before, but you can go out and you can search for things like the depth of market, footprint. Okay, those sort of things will cost you money. You know, maybe $2, $3, $4,000. I do give them for free. There's a reason I can do that. Let me just go back. I can't remember if I actually put it on the slide. I think I forgot. I shortchanged myself, right? I didn't put it on one of the slides about the tools. You do get the tools for free. Yeah, I forgot to put it on the slide, unfortunately. But yeah, these tools, so you get them for free. And the reason is I know how to build them. Okay, so I don't want you to waste money buying this stuff. Don't waste your money. As I told you, not only giving you a trader funded account as well, the capital, but I'm also giving you the tools as well. Okay, so I'm in a unique position. As I said, you know, this is not someone else's prop firm. It's my own, okay? So there's no kind of, you know, affiliate nonsense, okay? This is my own prop firm, okay? So I'm not getting paid to push you to some prop firm or anything like that, okay? That's what marketers do. I'm not a marketer, so I'm giving you my access to my own sort of prop firm's capital, and also in terms of tools, same thing. I build them myself, okay? They're not anyone else's. I was in a very fortunate position. I worked in a bank for a very long time, and I obviously didn't sit there doing nothing. I learned a lot, okay? And I learned to build the tools, so I'm giving them to you for free, okay? So a lot of people asking about the tools and stuff like that, all right? So I do give them to you. Don't worry, it's all covered, and it's for life. You'll have the tools for life, okay? Once they're yours, you can do what you want with them. Well, hopefully you put them to good use, of course. Last couple of questions. I know I said it a few times, but just want to make sure that I give this a fair bash. There's so many questions. I mean, literally, it will take me all night. But I'm going to answer one final question. Okay. Let's have a look. Just bear with me. Just bear with me. Okay, just because some people have written really long questions, and I appreciate the time is almost up. So I'll just ask you if you did have quite a long question, because there's so many of them. There's hundreds of them, basically, so can't answer them all today. Just email it over to envy@g7fx.com. There's one final question that I haven't put here, but I mentioned it a few times. A lot of people just asking me about the coupon code, and I'll just say it as a final thing, right, before we go. You will get an email, don't worry, just after this webinar, and I think a couple over the weekend as well, just reminding you that it is ending. And I apologize in advance, because a lot of people saying, oh, you know, can I have a little bit longer and this and that. I genuinely will end the code in the next 1 or 2 days. And I mentioned before why I do that. Okay, so firstly, I'm giving you all the tools for free. I'm giving you a free funded account. People who go and buy the course without the code, you can ask any of my students, they don't get the free funded account, okay? But they don't get the massive discount. They don't get all of that. So I can't, it would be unfair for me to leave this on forever, okay? And I very rarely run these webinars as well. And to make it credible and also make it a genuine kind of reward for you to have actually, you know, taken the leap kind of in your career path and decided to yourself, yeah, I'm going to do this because Envy is offering me a coupon code. How would it look if in a week's time I'm still doing it? I mean, it just takes it away, that whole credibility aspect of it. Okay, so I will genuinely be ending it. Okay, no excuses, no exceptions, no bottom, no, you know, bit longer, none of that. So and I've given you the reasons for that. Okay, so start sort of in the next couple of days if you can. Okay, so that was just to answer that, because a lot of people were asking about the coupon code. Okay, so look, fantastic webinar, been brilliant, and there's so many of you still sticking around. I appreciate it. Let me go back again. Feedback, thank you. Say thank you so much for joining today. Final reminder, it's on this page, but it's also here. Head over to the website, www.g7fx.com. Put your code in, you'll get full access to the entire top to bottom Pro and Foundation course, you know, with all the stages I talked about that I learned in a bank to help you grow that curve, you know, nice and slowly, all the tools, a real-time community, the 10K funded account with my own prop firm, okay? So I'm not doing this to, you know, get paid by another firm, and I don't do any of that nonsense. It's my own prop firm. It's a genuine account, okay? We're going to set you up. So be getting all of that. That's the code. And if you have any questions, final point, and then I promise this will be the end of it, send your questions over there, okay? nv@g7fx.com, okay? And we will answer all your questions, you know. Don't worry, even if it's a small question, don't be embarrassed to ask. Ask. You know, if you want to start something, you want to make sure you're comfortable, okay? So listen, have a wonderful weekend. Thank you so much for joining. I know you're all very, very busy. I'll obviously send you a few emails, communicate with you over email, and I can't wait to see you on the course on the other side. Okay, speak to you soon.